It is a 1 versus 1 ladder, and this is going down on a map that is known as Azalea Gardens. It looks like it could be 2v2 perhaps, like maybe these spawns could be a bit more. Yeah, maybe there's some mixes in or something like that, but it is a 10 by 10 kilometer map, and we have 2 players going on. Nice high-ish rated, not pros, but certainly well in the hydro region. Let's have an introduction of these guys. First player for today in the red corner up here as a Cybran, it is Gua type cat. What? Probably just call him maybe G type, maybe just type. I don't know. I'll figure out the names as we go along. Probably just type. And his opponent today, back down here in the blue corner, it is Dialectician. So it's an Aeon versus a Cybran game, red versus blue, and let's have a look at the reclaim on the map. Well, there's some to be had, not a giant amount. There's a good little stash here just behind your base of rocks you can pick up. There's rocks hiding around the edges all over the place there. There's some clumps here you want to grab, a little wee bit of a Jotto going on there, but the interesting thing about this one is the terrain. Sure, you're starting here, but you've got to walk backwards, sideways to get out. If you're going by land, going by air, you probably might not even be able to edge build that because that is a long slope. It's preventing this. We have a couple of plateaus here in the middle as well. Single side entry coming from here and wandering on up. So one point of entry there. We got tall hills over there. We've got another plateau on the sides here with a single entry coming up here with a few mass extractors on it. So all in all, a little bit mazy, a little bit, but interesting. A bit mazy but interesting. That's probably the gist of this map. So let's just have a quick look see down here. So first off, Dialectician, he's got a bit of adjacency for his land factory to one mass extractor. Just the one, curiously. I'm surprised it wasn't between two of them. The spacing of these mass extractors, you could get 4 factories in here, all with double adjacency to them. Of course, it would sort of ruin your storage adjacency, so that would be producing as much mass later on, but the savings you could have. Oh my, the savings. Anyway, Dialectician decided to jump into an air factory, I think that is, by the look. I could be completely and utterly wrong, talking to my ass. It could be another land factory. We'll see how that goes, but it is planned out. He's got one lab sitting up here at the top, going for a wander, looking for something to kill. Just knocking over some trees whilst he does that. Oh, look at that. Those poor trees. What did they do? Nothing. They just sort of existed. But this lab's off for a wander. Look at that guy. Scooting along. I've got my camera like almost like the exact right spot to keep track of him. He's running. He's absolutely running. Anyway, sorry. He's about to run into... Well, he's not actually, because this hunter is going to scoot on past in that direction. It'll be strange. I think that look a wee bit strange, but that is fine. But speaking of harassment, back down in this direction, we have a single hunter with a mole for attention, and that is an exposed engineer. No support for that guy. He may have some problems in a moment. Anti-air turret being thrown up by these guys, but that is not what the threat is going to be. The threat is going to be from the ground. A mole, of course, has absolutely zero combat capability, but it is a scout, and it can find things for you, and has found these over here, which is what I imagine this lab is going to run straight towards. Going to skip past this engineer, not going to kill it off, or does turn back around though, gets another volley. Single kill on that guy, having fun up the top. The other lab that was sent out by Dialectician is running for his life. He's being chased by 2. That's not good for your health, and he's going to get popped in a second. Another volley, there we go, mutual KO there. 1 death apiece, and this guy watches that and goes, I lived. Doesn't get too much. Alright, down here what do we got? 1, 2, 3. See, this is what I was talking about with the double adjacency. All these factories are getting so much extra assistance from being double adjacent 2 mixers and 3 pigeons. In a normal world, an engineer is going to cost you 4 and 20, but at the moment it's costing 3 and probably more like 19, 18 and a half kind of thing. So it's getting savings from the very start of the game building out of here, and much cheaper just with all this extra adjacency. Look at all the lines. It's very pretty to have those all around like that. Anyway, we check back down this direction, and well, that's probably why. So Dialectician was going for the single/double adjacency via over around the single, mass extractor, and that lab from earlier, well, he's rocked his way down here, managed, it's a different lab I think he's killed off an engineer somewhere, somehow. There's certainly a dead engineer at some point because that lab has a kill, and there's no engineer finishing off this mass extractor. However, an Aurora's going to come along and decide you are a bad lab, and probably collapse it into nothingness, because Auroras will do that to a lab. Right, this direction there is a T1 bomber out, which did have an interceptor overhead. The interceptor had a tag on it. It did a bit of damage, but the T1 bomber gets away, and now the Inti is flying over AA. Not good for your health. And anyway, what is that bomber going to get up to? There's a scout that did fly over here. It's been picked up by a interceptor in that faction, and let's just have a look at the production spam going on. These guys, we have 4 factories down for type, as well as 1 air factory, so 4, actually 5, 6, 7th land factory on the way. Has he got more planned? No. 7 land factories though on the ground, ready to go, and we're going to compare that over here to 1, 2, 3, looks like could be 7 also for actually an 8th one down there for dialectician, so 1 extra land factory and an air factory, so 8 and 1 on his side of things. Compare that to the, yes indeed, it's 7 and 1 for now. Type. Okay, bomber is just waiting for an opportunity to kill something. It's actually landed on the ground, damaged as it is. Literally sliver of a thing. Oh, takes off. Something came close. An engineer came close. How fortuitous. Gets to bomb the engineer for free. No, it's moving away. A strange choice. Back in the middle though. We see this burst. Bit of a real combat is begun. A couple of Auroras have been caught by Mantis. Not so good for the Auroras. They are much weaker than the Mantis. If they can keep them at range, they'll be alright. But as it is, they sheer numbers win out on that particular battle on that front. The bomber over here has itself a kill. Looks like it managed to pick up the engineer that was coming here to build the mix. Yes, indeed, there's the corpse. So that's very handy for that guy. But now it's going to be shanked by some interceptors. 1 kill. Not really worth it. But probably just a wee bit frustrating over anything else. Commander here is building another factory to just reinforce this position. Since he's the only one way on and off, you hold that and you'll be alright. Just you have to worry about air. But down below, engineer sitting right here has been found, discovered and murdered. Mantis have rolled on and decided they will prevent this reclaim from being picked up for now. And Dialectician's going to fall back with his forces. Does not quite have enough on the ground to contest that right there. Up in the middle though, another bomber fly over here. Drops his payload, does some damage. Don't know if we've got any kills. There were a couple of Sky Slammers do anything. The damage is done, and this is going to go very poorly for these Auroras. They're going to get like maybe a couple of kills before they get hammered by the Mantis. They're just that much stronger in close quarters. You gotta stay at range for Auroras to be properly effective. Single flare rolls on up and dies, because that's what flares do. Especially when they push a force of this size, simply not going to happen. Coming in one by one, these units are, and it's not great for their health. In fact, they are so bad for their health they're dead. Over on the left hand side, a few Mantis were pushing this way, but they're running into a very sizable Aurora force, and that should be enough to take care of those guys post haste. Maybe losing an Aurora or two just because of how weak they are. But that is fine. Back down the middle, these guys that were sitting in this little cubbyhole, they're starting to make their way out, pushing out from behind some units. Going to catch a few things out there. Commander here is perfectly happy. Got a single T1 PD, which will do for anything that tries to, of this that tries to rock that way. And anti-air turret to reinforce that. So at the moment, the map is looking pretty red, has to be said. We've got Type has taken over the middle. He's pushing through this direction. Got a force sitting around here. His air is dominating as well. He has far more inties than Dialectician does. This might be a slightly bad idea though. There's a single T1 PD which will quite happily shoot up these Mantis and moles all day, every day. 7 kills for that guy. Yeah, he's having fun. Absolutely having fun. Back in the middle though, we see more fracas going on over here. Bit of a fighty thing going on. And here, interestingly, this is Dialectician trying to build up a T1 PD. He's taken over from Type actually, because that is a Cybern factory. So Type was up here with engineers first, and they were trying to do their thing, but the T1 PD is real, and this could be bad if it shoots that down before these guys are noticed. But nope, there we go, and it is now going to shoo away the Mantis. Going to need some T-180 or a bomber to take care of that thing. Back down in the middle, these guys have been surrounded by labs as well as Auroras, so they're not going to be long for this world. They're going to get crushed into nothingness. Back up the top left hand side, a couple of Mantis snuck around the back rather than trying to run through the T1PD. They've gone round behind the T1PD. Not going to be good for their health though. Is a single Aurora that will blink them from afar over and over again till they die. If they move up a little bit, they might get some work done. A flare rocks on up. You can have a bad time as well. These two guys trying to sneak off to the side. Not going to work. Pretty sure they've been noticed. The band moving through here, but power overwhelming on this side. Who needs T180? Let's just rock up with a whole swarm of Mantis and just deal to that T1 PD. Actually, I'll take that back. We're a couple of T180 back here, and they took out the PD, they took out the engineers, and that little plateau is going to be cleaned back by type. So a cheeky little drop, I'm guessing, from Dialectician. Probably came along with the transport, dumped some engineers down, threw up a quick T1 PD, and that was all she wrote. In fact, I see the transport there. Got one engineer on it. Good times. But things evened out a little bit more. We have on the left hand side being controlled by Dialectician, as should be because his main base is there, and the right side being controlled by type. Let's have a look for tech. How are these guys doing? Well, do we have any tech upgrades over here? We have, there we go, 55% of the way towards T2. A couple of jesters out just for a quick response, I'd imagine. There'll be raids going around. No more air being built. Just pause on that. It's all land spam at the moment. And of course that T2 upgrade along the way. 63% done. Checking for tech over this direction. We have T2 air. So Dialectician opting for the air game. In fact, it's got a second air factory, so is there any ground tech coming along though? No, sticking with the T1 spam for the moment. Just Aurora is trying to do their thing. T2 engineers are out and building the T2 Pigeon. That will be very good for your eco. Right, type has a solid force sitting right here, supported by a couple of jesters. There's not much in the way of anti-air on the grounds. A couple of interceptors out. We do see a thistle floating around or two just to make life miserable. We do have a T1 anti-air over there, so the jesters can't get a lot done. We do want to keep them a wee bit more defensive for things like this pushing around. You could see them in and clean that. Maybe the thistles might have a go at your face though, and that would not be good. Back this direction. T2 land is done and the engineers are coming along. Transport has been parked nearby. It may very well be looking to move, carry an engineer to a promising position, perhaps over this way. You could set up a tack launcher, clean out this little section here, maybe even here, and look at doing some things. But left hand side, big pushes coming through from Dialectician. He's got a very large force here, which is having a difficult time trying to chase down these guys. He's got another band moving up to the top left here, but there's not much for them to kill. There's not even a mass extractor or anything. They might have a free run at this, but probably not. No, I'd say there's definitely not enough units to take care of this, especially as there's a T1 PD and they don't have any artillery. This is all Auroras and flares with a little bit of anti-air thrown in, so not a single bit of T1 PD. And speaking of pushes though, over this direction, this is a, well, it was a swift wind. Oh, was that all air? Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I think this was all interceptors. No, okay, no, sorry, take that back. Those were Mantis. Sorry, I thought they were inties for a moment, and it would have been horrible to lose your air on the ground just like that. But no, it turns out they were Mantis, and they have been turned into little wee piles of reclaim for somebody to get. Big force moving through the middle here. They're a wee bit strung out rather than moving in formation. It would be annoying to them to get anything, but the swift winds are out for Dialectician. He's got the T2 air well under production. Does he have any land shift yet? He does. There's a shift to T2 lane there, 90% of the way done. But we saw T2 was in play ages ago for type, and he does. He's still producing engineers. And where and what are they doing? He must have had T2 for a while, and I don't know where his engineers are or what they're up to. Just do a quick search. Maybe he had a bad rally point? Not entirely certain, but anyway, that's what he's done. He's got a few T2NGs. He could look at moving towards the T3 game perhaps soon. Getting down some T1 pigeons while he has T2 available to build? Question mark. Okay, that was his choice and he's sticking to it. Up this direction, you can see T1 AA is actually doing not badly. It has been, I do know T1 Mobile AA got buffed a while ago. Just made it actually useful, basically. It was pretty much useless against things. Like, it would take forever to kill a bomber, so you just never built it. Swarm is heading on out though. That's a lot of red and it's all coming this way. Only a couple of Auroras here are really going to be effective against these Mantis, and they're not even going to be that effective, especially if these guys move in a bit closer. Going to have a couple of Thistles which have literally 0 in underground capability. They're just going to sit there and take it. Splat. Deadness. So this is a big swarm to be cautious about. They're going to be able to clean out this side, even swing down this way if there's some T1 RT in the mix. Actually, even if there's not any T1 RT in the mix, they would be able to overrun this position very, very easily. A single T1 PD ain't going to do so good for your health. More swarms coming in that direction, so really focusing on that top left. It looks like Type wants to claim it back for himself, get all that back into his coffers. Over on the right hand side, and not a lot of movement, just got a few engineers doing reclaim things. Similar item over here, one factory, one radar, mass extractor, but just popping out units there instead of having the static PD. Right, back in this direction we see the T2 PGN has started, got a zapper going up as well, just in case of TAC missiles, because that seems to be how they think, although I haven't seen any TAC missiles anywhere. Checking down this direction, and oh, hello. Dialectician is skipping the T2 land stage. Not even bothering with any T2 land units. In fact, he's got control gates and factories over here, and turned it into a T2 air factory. Oh, that's a lot of gunships. He's working on some Spectres. Gunships are going to be very, very useful, but that T3 upgrade is nearly done. That's going to be very nasty indeed. He's going to have 3 T2 air factories and maybe some more. Looks like another couple of air factories planned. That's going to be interesting, very heavy into the air game. Am I hearing some? Yes, I am. I'm hearing some Spectres already doing their thing. They have taken out the mass extractors and they are moving on. Looking to try and clean up some targets, but the swarm of Inties comes through from Type, and those Spectres ain't going to get much more done. They're just going to be turned into wrecks on the ground back on the left hand side. As mentioned, the slot could just roll over this position. Pretty much. With minimal casualties, just so many Mantis, they just killed this off really, really quickly, and that position is now claimed. Massive wars coming in to be on the counter though. However, it contains a huge number of labs, a fair whack of anti-air, and a handful of Auroras, maybe half Auroras. I think this force here could roll that very, very easily right now. And speaking of rolling things, coming through the middle, another swarm from Type, and this is going to just sweep through all of this. Yeah, there's, again, just a few handful of Auroras supported by labs and some anti-air. It's like a standard mix out there from Dialectician, but this lot are not going to be slowed down by this at all. They could just sweep straight on through. These units should have moved a lot quicker, but hello, T3 on the ground, and that's a Harbinger. We've got a Harvey pushing up to the left to reinforce that side, and nope, still just T2 over here, but it is the Spectres trying to get things done. But the anti-air, which there is a whole lot of, is doing great work. That Spectre is going to drop down, and this force is going to remain mostly untouched and still able to sweep on through. Swiftwinds are rocking around, just trying to have a look for things to murder or to protect against, but look at the swarms ready. So that's Harbinger, wherever it's gone, there it is. That is going to be incredibly useful right now, especially with this push coming in, and Harbies do pretty well against T1, it has to be said. Rapid fire, still do a little bit of overkill, but the rapid fire, the shields that regenerate, you've got a couple of T1 PD as well. This is actually going to be a fairly even fight over this side. The Harbinger's probably going to make the difference. Got 9, 10. Just look at it carving these units up. This T1 PD is going to have a go. Second Harbinger is back here, and that is Type deciding he wants none of this whatsoever. Harbinger's on the ground. T1 PD loaded up as well, and these guys are running away. this blob decides it's not going to reinforce. It's just going to run off in this direction. And will it get far? There is a single T1 PD ready to go. Again, there's a big swarm of units here. They'll be more than capable of overrunning this position. They can kill off the engineers or stop another one going up. That would be very helpful. I do hear Vipers, so they're going to check on that in a second. Going to see how this T1 PD fares. It's got 8 kills for the moment. Working on a whole lot more. There we go. Got some mobile artillery. They're doing their thing, and as the shells land, it kills off the PD. So these guys are ready to go. Right hand side, I heard Vipers. There they are. There's a Viper right there. It is having to go at something, but getting tickled down by an Aurora sitting over this side. An odd place for it to be, but I'm not sure what the plan here was. Odd decision. Anyway, pushing coming here, and swarm of T1 versus handful of Harbingers. It's a bit of a mismatch, because these Harbies, not only do they outrange those units, they can absolutely carve them up, and if you throw in some air support as well of some Spectres, they're just going to ruin the day of all of these units and just basically turn them into bits of metal scrap waiting to be doomed. There we go. Left hand side, and that push has moved out as well. The double Harbinger core of these units is just going to keep a hold of that plateau. Massive swarm up the backroom type, but it needs to think about being not T2. In fact, there we go. This is a shift towards T3 right there. 30% of the way. Bricks are a very, very solid counter to Harbingers. Harbs can't deal with bricks. Alright, checking out down here, we have these forces doing their thing. They've cleaned up what was there. They popped the radar down, and they can actually now start doing some work. Viper's going to be really useful. It's going to kill things from range, but I don't see it. Oh, there's flak. There is flak in the mix. That's good, because there's a gunship. Spectre's going to come on over and say hello to these boys shortly, and they can actually sweep all of this. There's a single TMD there, but that Viper could pick and choose its targets before getting close. Kill these two PD right there. Then all of this will be up for grabs. It's anti-air, not anti-ground. It'll be very easy pickings, except for the fact there's a few Harbingers coming to reinforce again. So I feel like T3 can't come fast enough for Cat. Alright, some Mantis loitering over here. Looks like it's going to move on in. Not going to be a good idea owing to the fact it's a T1 PD. So they turn around and decide to go in a different direction. Maybe they could sweep this way if it wasn't for the Harbingers coming over. They were going to support that section. Top left, those two Harbies have made their move along with the supporting forces. That is the transport. Maybe it had engineers. Maybe there's no engines in this mix, so all that is going to sit right there. These guys are going to carry on with their movement. All of this is dead. Two Harbies, handful of T1, not good for your health. Back down the bottom right, and indeed there we go. The Spectres, actually multiple Spectres turned up. There is some flak, but it's not really the Spectres that are the problem. It is, of course, the Harbingers. Here we go, flak's doing a thing, and Spectres get turned into mulch. But the 4 Harbies are going to be an issue, and that is exactly what Cat is running away from. He doesn't have anything to slow those down right now. How is this T3 upgrade going? Well, it is done, and bricks are on the way. In fact, I see one there. There's a brick. And bricks will do for Harbingers quite happily. They outrange them, they out DPS them, they out tank them. They are better in pretty much every single way except cost, but hey, it's a brick. They are incredibly useful, incredibly versatile units. So not only are they good against T3, they're good against T1 as well because of the rapid fire. Compared to Percivals, which have the huge alpha individual shots, but you know, those shots do a lot of overkill when it comes to T1 units because they don't actually have any splash damage. But in the meantime, these two Harbies are swarmed and they are doomed. Plenty of T1 units, enough to put them out of their misery. And now Typecat can think about a different direction for his bricks to go. But these units continuing to fall back in the face of T3. Solid decision, not much they can do. Checking out down here, and T3 lands, still just T2 here. No shift on that just yet for Dialectician. Working on a T3 Pigeon. I imagine once that's up, perhaps we will see a T3 shift out of there. Taking an air game over this side, and Well, that is just about T3, so Typecat has gone for T3 air before Dialectician, and it is done. He now has the capability to produce ASFs, strat bombers, whalers, all sorts of nasty airborne items that can cause havoc, but it has been scouted. T1 scouts have been a constant thing coming over from Dialectician by the look of it, and she's got a whole more here ready to go. Over this direction, and the T2 clump is just kind of meandering around the place, letting the Viper kill things at range. Not too much for it to contest against it right now, to be honest. On the ground there is sweet fuck all. Being chased by these guys. Nope, not being chased at all. This group has actually stopped and stood still, so these guys are free to go and do as they please. Excuse me, I'm going to walk into a bunch of Swiftwinds here. They're going to have a bad time, especially as they're sitting on the grounds. That is never good for your health. They take off only to be greeted by flag. But they will flee the scene of that. They don't want any part of that. Alright, switching back up this direction, and there we go. We see T3 Pigeon is on the way for Typecat. He's working on that before he starts his air. Need the power to run the T3 air, and still working on the bricks though. Definitely don't want to lose those. Checking out this direction. Yes, T3 airshift is underway for Dialectician. He is 60% and it's going up pretty darn quickly. Probably owing to the fact he's already got T3 Pigeon. So Typecat, he's got to be still on power. Yes, he is. That is not a true mass rating. He's 100% still on power. So it's not that bad a difference. On the right hand side, these guys are pushing up here. Got some T2 in the mix, but it's going to be difficult for them to stop the Harbingers. These are pretty darn good. Where are the bricks? Well, they're in the middle. Reinforced in the center. They need to be over on the right. That's where these guys are. There is a T1 PD over here. If they can distract the Harveys, it'd be good, but they can shoot that. I think they'll just loiter over the walls and turn it into mulch pretty much straight away. There we go. No more T1 PD. Alright, T3 air is good. T3 Pigeon is done. We see a shield gen going on up, and I think that's an Omni sensor. So Type needs a bit of intel. He's got no idea what is moving around the place. This force is the pain at the moment. Needs something to try and slow that down. T2 units will slow them down. Don't think they're going to be able to kill them, but definitely slow them down. Where are the bricks he had? Well, there's one of them. I know he had more. He had like a whole handful of damn things. Oh, yep, there we go. They're in the middle. In the middle, and they're going for a wander, and they will absolutely clean house over here. Some wayward engineers, a couple of harbingers, just the two, walking nice and slow. They're walking very slowly, actually. Very slow indeed, that's alright. And here we go. It is brick time. And the brick's going to be supported by a single rhino. Why not? Why not, he says. Alright, this band on the right is about to... Well, actually, that's a terrible formation for Type to have. Means these guys can be able to just waltz in from the edge and kill the units one by one instead of trying to have to face a firing line. But this is Type repositioning, perhaps. It looks like they are moving a wee bit on the sideways department. And now we've got a single rhino having fun against a harbinger. And I say fun because that rhino won't have fun at all, especially when more harbingers turn up. And there we go, brick starts doing brick things. Look at the harbinger just die out from that. Of course, there are more harbies, and there is the T2 support as well. That brick's going to get the majority of the damage done on the harbingers. 2 down, 2 to go. The shield drops on this one. It shouldn't be too much longer, but you want to chase it. Don't want to let the shields regen. There's some T1 PD up here. You don't want to walk in range of that, and those guys need to chase. Back in the middle, though, it is harbingers versus a horde of... harbingers versus bricks, but the bricks also have the addition of, there we go, gunships over here doing extra damage. But now here comes the T2 support on the ground. A bunch of bangers turn up. That's going to do everything for those specters badly, and the bricks are going to be able to lay their smack down on the harbies, but they're going to keep retreating. Might as well try and stay out of range, throw some T2 units in front, throw down some extra damage, maybe soak up some of the gunfire that's coming in, and the bricks will be quite happily in play for that. The top right units, they look like they were going to try and move on around, but they're now being chased up by these guys, and they're walking into range of T1 PD, which is never great for your health. Very high DPS settings. They don't have a lot of range, they don't have a lot of health, But my word, do they put out the damage. What do they do? So DPS of 150, if you compare that to a brick, it has a DPS of 312. So it's like half the DPS of a brick from a T1 point defense. It's not shabby. Not shabby at all, and you can put up a pair of those really quickly. They're just low on the health side of thing. Alright, back up this direction, we see there is now plenty of power. War Cat, he is all good on that side of things. But strat issues in the middle, and strats, well, they can kill bricks really, really easily because bricks can't shoot back as strat bombers. They are ground only. And that strat bomber has come at a time when all of the inties belonging to Type are out of gas. Does he have any ASFs around? Well, he's trying to scramble one up at the moment, but there are ASFs belonging to Dialectician in defense, so that strat bomber will get away. And if he tries to go in for it, there we go, some T3 mobile AA. That's a very, very good choice right there. Have a look at them. Those bounces are going to start carving the ASFs up. The longer they loiter there, they're just free kills at the moment. Just free kills. The strat bomber turns up though, and double bouncer action is going to lob those missiles right into it, down into the yellow, heavy into the yellow. And it's going to swing back over the bouncers. Not good for your health. Drops the bomb, mutual KOs. No, it was going for the T1 PD. What do you know? The bouncers live. And that's going to be very useful in the middle for those bouncers to stay around to take care of any other air that comes along. Checking out over this direction, what do we have for Dialectician? T3 air, of course. We saw the strap bomber wandering around before. And 3 of these factories are upgrading towards T3, so he reckons he's got the eco to run a lot of factories there. He's got one T3 HQ, a second one over there, a T2 factory, that's T1. That's T3 on the land there. Maybe just concerned about drops hitting that particular spot. We have a T3 factory over here and a SAM going up. And then a T2 PD right here playing fuck the ground at a very point blank range. Look in the background, you can see way in the background some loyalists doing a wee bit of a wander. They're getting hit by something. Is there another? Oh, no, that was a crashing item. So loyalists are coming on in. We've got bricks holding the front line. We've got some bouncers in play as well for air defense. And that is going to be a tough little nut to crack in the middle there for Dialectician. They could get on through quite handily and do some good damage. You don't want to lead with the bouncers, is the only thing. They aren't very robust compared to bricks. Loyalists need to scrap in on their bounce. Bricks are going to sweep on back. Just going to try and kill some things off there. Bouncers doing some work as scouts fly over. Looking reasonable in the middle there, especially for Typecat with more T3 on the way. Got some more loyalists and bricks that can join in the fun. And now they can sweep over in this direction, kill off the factory, kill off these engineers that are just trying to do their peaceful reclaim missions. They are not allowed. Map is looking fairly even at the moment, just having a check up on the top left hand side. I'd say it seems to be leaning a little bit more towards the red side of things, perhaps a little bit more territory there, but this is a lot of harbingers. A lot of harbingers. There's running out of bricks actually. The bricks are dying out in droves. The rhinos are trying to give an account of themselves, but there's a lot of damage coming through. The loyalists need to get in here and assist, but I think that was the last brick on the front line. Another couple are turning up, which is going to be helpful, but that's a huge swarm of Harveys. And this force, which was looking pretty solid just a moment ago, is now having to fall back in the face of destruction. I'm just pushing their shielded cells, doing good work, and it is mayhem as they all have a grand go at each other. Why not? Right through the gap in the middle, and in actuality it is looking like Type is going to be able to get away with some units and start lapping away at a distance. Some inties do fly overhead. They're going to get drowned out by some flak and some redeemers. They're going to just pick them out of the skies nice and easy. Yeah, they're only T1 inties, and these are T3 units, so not good for their health. Checking out over this direction, what is the plan? Well, the plan is monkey. That is a monkey lord, so Type has started on that, and that is about halfway done actually. Just under halfway done, 45% or so. But on the flip side of things, somebody has started the GC. Where is it? There it is. So Dialectician with a Galactic Colossus and Typecat with a Monkey Lord. We'll see how this fares up as the time goes on. Which one's going to finish first? Well, I imagine to be the Monkey Lord. Had a massive head start and takes a lot less resources to build, being the cheapest. It's the cheapest T4, isn't it? Fairly certain the Monkey Lord is cheaper than the Fat Boy. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Monkey Lord is around about 20,000 mass from memory. Yep, 20,000 mass exactly, actually. And I don't remember the Fat Boy, but I think it's like 22 or 23,000. It's been a while. I don't often look at the mass values of things, but that Monkey Lord is just about done. I'm just going to start stomping its way towards the front lines. Going to reinforce all of these units over here. We have a drop on the way. That is a Dragonfly with just a stealth unit. No other units on board. Just the stealth unit is a Oh, there we go. I was confused. I was like, why are you dropping that by itself? But there's the reinforcements. A few rhinos, got a banger, and another stealth unit. Maybe the units that were on there died. They got dropped off somewhere else, perhaps, and had an unfortunate fate. But nope, looks like that was where they were meant to be. And a loyalist joins in the party. So got a band of units here ready to go, and they might be tricky actually. There is a couple of T1 PDs sitting there, and these guys would have to chip away at the walls, except for the loyalists perhaps could go. But that monkey got done, and before it's even reached the front lines, where is it? There it is. Before it's even reached the front lines, the Galactic Colossus is up and stomping. And there's a second one that has begun to build. Because why not? What's better than one GC? Two of them. Okay, back in the middle. How are we looking over here? Well, this position has been reinforced. Drops are coming over left, right and centre, so Typecat is reinforcing with all of that. And what happened to the Loyalist? Well, the Loyalist tried to do its thing, but the T1 PD has done in the Loyalist, and the Rhinos cannot hit that over the edge. It's going to die a horrible death. Leaving behind these three just to sit here and wonder about their life choices. Alrighty, this group in the middle, they are ready to go forward and wreak some havoc. The problem is, I don't believe you're aware of what is stomping in their direction. Right there, a GC in the background, tooting back and forth a little bit. You see the bouncers are doing their job. They are tracking the aircraft and lobbing those missiles out. Actually, that was quite picturesque. You got these guys here, you got a GC stomping its way forward, you got a GC building in the background as well. And that one in the background is just completed. Here's the notification comes up, we saw it stand up, and a third one has started. And the second one starts walking away. So two GCs on the field for a Dialectician. A third one is starting to be built. We compare that over this direction to what have you got. Well, you got a second monkey on the way. Lots of drops, repositioning places around. The monkey, first monkey is here, is going to have a go at, well, whatever it can, basically. Now, what is there to stop it? Well, this GC is out of position. It's not going to be able to slow it down. This monkey could actually get around and clean this plateau out, unless this GC gets in range and cuts off the avenue of attack. Checking out the midsection, and indeed these guys do have to be careful. The GC is turning around and walking away, question mark. Why would you do that? Reinforce his harbingers, although I think he's sending it down this way. He knows there's a monkey here, but he's got no idea what else is around. Yep, indeed, no idea what else is around, so looks to reinforce that over there, but changes his mind about the middle. Typecat, is he aware? He knows there's one GC that's misguided. He does not know there's a second one over here. So that could be bad for his health. But speaking of bad for his health, along came a Galactic Colossus. And Dialectician finishes his third GC, starts a fourth one. Monkey is completed for Typecat as well. There's a... that was a lot of destruction. A lot of explosions. I think that was a capped with T2 stuff. Mass extractor. In the middle though, items are going a bit of a stalemate. Say a bit of a stalemate, but Typecat decides he doesn't want any of this at the moment, moves his forces back. The monkey was also in retreat. It turns around and thinks, I got this. Spoiler alert, you don't got this. There's a GC in your face, my friend. You don't got this. You are dead. Walks right on up, gets some stomping going on, and now it's going to collapse and crush some Harveys a little bit. They didn't die, but yeah, it tried. Monkey could not defeat Colossus. In the middle, same thing going on here. We see a Loyalist get scooped on up, and as it dies, it does this usual stun type thing, starting Soul Ripper. So Typecat is confident of holding the air game, and he's actually starting out a Soul Ripper. Soul Ripper could also be actually really good, and then he throws out the GG. I believe he's aware of the double GCs that are coming his way, even more for Galactic Colossus, and those are just going up so fast for Dialectician. He has so much build power and so much eco compared to Type, but Type has thrown out the GG. He's throwing in the towel on this one. I do wonder if that was the right call. Now Dialectician says, I thought it was fun. And yeah, it probably is fun, more fun when you win, but down here is the issue. GC backed up by Harbingers. There is a monkey back here of course, but not a heck of a lot it can do against a Galactic Colossus that will die. Needs support to the units, and even then there's a second GC wandering up this way. Not even trying to build the gunship at the moment. It is just, yeah, Typecat has thrown in the towel. Not even microing his forces either. Maybe he is. Maybe he's thinking, if I can kill this one, should be alright, and I think he should be able to. He's got enough on the ground to do it. He's got Loyalists, he's got Ricks. The GC turns away for some reason, and now starts getting absolutely mowed down. There's a lot of damage coming there from Ricks, from Loyalists, from the Monkey, and that GC is actually going to die before the Monkey does, I think. Down onto the red burst, yes indeed. The Monkey survives and is going to get a rank of Redressy out of that. As this GC falls over, overly dramatic death, going to fall on something. That falls on a bunch of units actually, gets those done. But on the right hand side, the second GC is walking up the ramp, trying to spam up the Monkey. I think the Soul Ripper was a better idea. Then again, maybe not. The Dialectician has a lot. He's starting a T3 RC. Are you kidding me? Well, I guess he's got the ground game covered. GC's all over the place. He's got plenty of air. Bricks over here are getting absolutely hammered now that the shields are down. Colossus is coming in, scooping up with the Extractor Arms. The Harbingers are moving on in. That Monkey is not going to finish. This Monkey is coming back from the front though. It's damaged, but it's regenerating, and maybe it can get some work done. If it can get in and start exhausting that GC, it could perhaps help keep things under track, but GC is, I don't know what it's doing. It's trying to shoot something, and whatever it's shooting is not hitting. The face is very much turned to left. Getting shot in the back now. That Monkey's going to get a free kill actually, but what doesn't matter, Guartype is thrown out of the GG, the control K. Here's the surrender button because there's two more fresh GCs walking up in this direction, and he does not have enough on the ground to try and stop those. So well played by Dialectician.